I apologize for being late. My crazy soap opera life. Okay, so aside from that, today I want to talk about the Temple of Orientation. And this site is called Take What Rings True. So this information is from trance classes where my friend Sylvia Brown would go sit on a bench on the other side, not remember anything that happened. And then her spirit guide, in this case, it was her spirit guide named Rahim, would come in and talk to us about stuff. Did I just say it was Rahim? It was Francine that did this one, but okay. So, my name is Teresa Micheletti, and this is Take What Rings True. So, have you ever gone on a really long trip? And then when you get home, you have to acquaint yourself with your car, your home. I remember I went to Europe for 6.5 weeks. And when I got back, I hadn't driven a car in all that time. And when I got back, I had to sit in the car and think, okay, now how do I start this car? Although I had gotten back from England, when took a trip to England, I was driving on the wrong side of the road. You know how you get stressful riding on the left side instead of the right side and figuring out those roundabouts. If you go on the roundabout, is Bath going towards Stonehenge or is it going away from it? Anyway, you have to reorient yourself when you get back from a trip a lot of times. So, the same thing with the Temple of Orientation. This temple is for people to reorient back to the other side. So, getting used to remembering what your true home is like, because your true home is really the other side or heaven. And this temple, the Temple of Orientation, is also the gateway for souls about to go into life, about to incarnate. So, you go check in at orientation, and then you go to the Hall of Wisdom to review your life in the scanner. And then you have a party with friends and family. Although, actually, when you first get through the tunnel to the other side, I think I've said this one before, then all your family and friends are there and they're singing your tone, and all the pets have come to the front and they greet you. And then you go through the orientation. It's like, remember, this is where you live, this is what you've been doing, your career is blah, 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 whatever. So, the only people who don't go through the Temple of Orientation would be like preschool age kids. They skip it because they already remember what the other side is like and they don't need to acclimate. They're already all there. So, this temple is a Romanesque building. And it gives off this soft white light. And I always think of it like they're leaving the light on for us, the soft white light. So that old TV commercial, we're leaving the light on for you. So you enter this building. There's two sets of double doors. One set says incoming and the other set says outgoing. So you know you're coming back into life in the other side or you're going out into a life on earth. So you would choose the doors that say incoming. And you would also find a place in this auditorium to sit. It's very plain inside, very simple. And you would be with your spirit guide. And then you would wait for a counselor that we call an orientor. So the orientor would come and get you and bring you to one of the small meeting rooms on the edge of that big room. You might notice while you're waiting, there's a board with flashing lights. And you might even see your name, and your light would not be flashing. It would be solid green, indicating you have arrived. And the other names with flashing lights are people who are about to come back to the other side. It's like announcing that your Uncle George is about to go to the other side, or your Aunt Susie, or whoever. So that's listed on there. So your friends and family can realize that, oh, you're about to come over. So come on and greet them. So this temple reorients us, and people are counseled, which is why they're called a counselor. People are counseled about what it's like to be on the other side and to remember your life on the other side. So the other side of the temple, one half is for incoming, one half is for outgoing. The other side of the temple is for outgoing souls. So when you're about to come into life, you enter the hall or the temple of orientation, and you're greeted by the counselors, and they remind you, okay, you've got your chart, which is your scroll that says the experiences you want to have in life. And they remind you, okay, remember your spirit guide, remember your personal angel. They're there to help you. Call on them, talk to them. And they also remind you about spiritual tools you can have, you can use, like putting up mirrors in front of somebody, or using armor, ethereal armor, like Joan of Arc's armor, King Arthur's armor, as a protection against negativity. Anyway, they remind you about these things. If you don't want to know about the tools, there's an audio that I did before of, these are videos, a previous podcast about spiritual tools. So you can check that out. Anyway, okay, so the counselor reminds them about their chart, their spirit guide, their angel. They have spiritual tools available to them, like a tool belt of spiritual tools. And then they go with a virtue angel to a quiet area, private quiet area, just to reflect. And possibly they may change something on their chart, because the virtue angel knows your chart by heart. And they may say, now look, you're going to have this and this happening. Maybe you need a few more IQ points in this lifetime. And maybe we need to add that in. So the last bits of any changes are done then. And you reflect, like you're leaving and you're going to be going into a new life, and just take a breath and get ready to go. And then you're escorted by the angel into another room, a glass covered room. And it's a place where you transition. We're all 30 on the other side. And you transition from the age of 30 to physically or ethereally being smaller. So your spiritual body becomes smaller, so that you're comfortable transitioning into the womb of your mom, and the physical body, the earthly body that you're going to reside in while you're on earth. So you shrink yourself down. You don't, but you're in a transition, and then you enter like a tunnel, a slide, whatever, into the mother's womb, your mom's womb. So that would be interesting to see, but we've seen it many times because we've come into life many times. So the temple is, number one, to have incoming souls and reorient you. And then number two, for outgoing souls and to orient them to come to the other side. To come to earth. So it's both directions, coming and going. So back to the people who have just come in to the temple of orientation from earth. So as you come, I've already said you're greeted by your loved ones and your friends when you get through the tunnel. And then you go with your spirit guide to the temple, and you sit with your counselor, and they talk to you softly, and help you reorient. You realize that you're letting go of any pains, letting go of any concerns. They're all dropping away. You feel lighter because the other side doesn't have all that gravity. And you're in your spiritual body, not you've let go of the overcoat or the vehicle of the physical body on earth. That's gone. You just have your spiritual body, your glorified body, it's called sometimes. So, if you had a life of trauma or your death was traumatic, then the counselor may ask that you be cocooned, which is being nurtured, wrapped in warm blankets. You rest in a room with soft music and comforting lights. And we call this cocooning. So if you were really traumatized, then you're put into a cocoon, not a real cocoon, but the comforting blankets, nurtured, wrapped. Angels watch over you, or loved ones watch over you. A lot of times it's just quiet music. And this nurturing cocoon method could last maybe a month in our time, or it might even go up a year in our time. And the other side, that's nothing. That's a snap of fingers because we've lived for eternity on the other side. So it's just a way for you to take a breath and transition without it being jarring. So you might be cocooned, but that happens very, very rarely. It's just if you need that. And we've talked about the towers, the temple, the towers, the two towers. You can also go there if you want some quiet time by yourself after you've come back to the other side, and maybe get some spa treatments, or just reflect and write, or just have some time looking at the waterfall. So that's an opportunity too. So you go to the temple, you talk to the counselor, they start helping you to reorient back into life on the other side. And most of the time we feel like we've got to get back to our life. But you aren't quite ready, because it's like when I came back and figured out what to do with the car, it's like you have to remember, oh, okay, like I work over there, or maybe I'm a landscaper and I work in one of the gardens, or maybe you take care of the animals, or maybe you are a facilitator at one of the temples. But you need to give yourself time, take a breath, and give yourself time to reorient and let go of the earthly concerns, get go of the earthly feelings of hardship, and let go of that stuff. So you give yourself time to let go of the junk from life, and you immediately, when you get there, start feeling God's love. You feel love from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. It just like permeates your whole body, and you can feel that all the time. So you're filled with this love. You're letting go of all the stresses, the strains, the concerns, the hardships. All that drops away. And you feel younger. Well, you may feel older if you died when you were 20, but you go back to the age of 30. And why 30? Because we're all 30. That's just the way it is. Okay, so you adjust to your age. You feel better because you feel lighter. You feel more at ease. You feel loved all the time. You don't have the obstacles that we have on earth. All those things have gone away. Now, incoming and outgoing souls can go there, but you can also visit while you're in life. You can go there just to feel the calm. You can sit in the auditorium and you can let your worries and cares just drop away. You can feel lighter. You can feel more at ease. You realize that you can get through the obstacles in your life, and you realize people are so appreciative of you appreciative of you because they have learned from watching you survive life. You are an example. They've watched you. The other side, we aren't alone. We are never alone on earth. You have your spirit guide with you always, and you have your angel with you always. You always have a personal angel, and they never leave your side. Your spirit guide can bilocate, so they can be attending to you, but they can also be at a lecture on the other side at the same time. So you have your spirit guide and your angel, but you also have people watching you. You have people seeing how you get through life. It's like you're part of a movie. There was a movie about that where this person lived in like a container. And if he went out one door, it went out to the real world. But the rest of it, he was in this little container of people watching him. Well, that's what it's like for us. We're being watched. So they watch to see how you handle things. They watch to see how you get through difficult times, which is why a lot of times your loved ones are sending you extra energy. They're sending you love. They're sending you blessings. They're praying for you. They're going to counsel and asking for intercession. They're watching you and they learn from you. And then they learn vicariously from you. So maybe if they're going into a life, maybe they learn how to handle something. Or maybe they don't come into a life because they've learned from you how to handle something or what should be done or what could be done in a certain circumstance. So you can visit this temple just to feel the quiet, to feel some worries and concerns drop away, to feel more at ease and lighter and lifted up, uplifted. So you would go there during meditation or when you're asleep, tell your spirit guide you want to go there and then ask to remember or not. Maybe you just want to go and come back feeling when you wake up, feeling more at ease, feeling like your worries have gone away. You can also go when you're astrally projecting and you're going to look for that soft, white, sparkly light, like the light's on for you, and go to the temple of orientation. You can also go there during hypnosis. So if you want to go, I can guide you, or any spiritual hypnotist can guide you to the temple of orientation. So you might want to check it out. If not, just knowing about it and knowing that there's a place that will help you to reorient when you get back to the other side and you've passed over to the other side, not just visiting. There's a wonderful temple that welcomes you and helps you to transition back to your real home, which is the other side. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for paying attention, even though I was late. So I will start recording this and just have it go on at 10 o'clock until the end of the month when I don't have to wait for deliveries. So life gets in the way of our plans. And that happens more than we plan for it to happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for paying attention and ask any questions you want. And I'd be glad to clarify anything I said or anything about this temple or anything about any of the other temples. So thanks. Bye. Glad to have you with me.